This video is for the young people out there. You don't really know yourself. When I say young, I'm talking about under 25, really. I'm 23 years old, and I can confidently say who I thought I was 2 years ago versus who I am now is quite different. And it's different in a lot of ways I didn't really expect because as you are young, you are aging, you are developing, you are coming into yourself, you are understanding who you are as a person. All these feelings, these traumas from your past are now building and molding this character that you are just right now a part of the system. You're not fully done yet. And even once you get past 25, you're still growing, you're still developing, you're still changing. But in these stages, especially, you are not completely grounded like you think you are. And it took me a while to realize this, actually, because I remember how when I was 18, 19, I was like, when I'm 23, when I'm 24, this is exactly what I'll do. My life will be exactly like this because I'm this type of person. And I realized I'm not even battle tested enough to understand, will I still have these characteristics under hard conditions? Will I still have these same values when I'm alone in my room and there's no social pressure on me? And again, this is to our young generation because we have so much social pressure. We have so much masking that we put onto the world because we feel like we have to, we care more about the image of who we are more than who we are actually. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've said this so much that our generation is cursed with caring so much about image, so much about what's on the outside, not what's on the inside, because that is what's valued in the world. Understand, we get so much validation based off our image. We get affirmation based off our image. We get love based off our image. We get all this perception. And so we just learn more and more how to mask so we can continue that validation loop, that feed loop. We get positive feedback from how we portray ourselves. And sometimes, me included, I get lost in that. I get really, really lost on, do I really like doing this or do I like this because of my work? Do I really like doing this or do I like how this makes me appear to other people? And sometimes we can understand that we like this effect of our actions, but we don't really like the action itself. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. And so that being said, I'm taking a journey right now in my life to where I'm really trying to understand who I am as a person, what I value, why I value it, and if it's something that's really aligned in me, or is this something I've told myself that I feel like I have to conform to? Or is this just an image online that I feel like I have to conform to? And I really don't know. I really don't know. But let me tell you, this is how I'm figuring it out. When I'm by myself, where I feel like no one will see the consequence of my actions, what do I do? What do I focus on? What do I study? What videos do I watch? What entertains me? And it's really that isolation that is helping me understand this again and recome to myself because I felt like I've always been in a clouded vision, right? I've had so much perspective on who I am as a person. And we all have so much perspective. We have perspective from our parents, from our family, right? From our friends, social media, of course. We get all of these different perspectives on who we are. And we try to find a profile that will best suit everyone else's perspective but our own. And the strongest individuals are the individuals that can be themselves authentically, be themselves and be accepted, understand who they are. And when you really know who you are deep down, you won't be shaken as much. You won't have so many oopsies on, I never thought I would do this, or I'll never do this. And then you end up doing it a year or two later. It's definitely two of those factors, right? Number one, we're not fully defined at this age because we haven't had enough life experience. We haven't been tested enough. And number two, we have such a social mask that we don't separate the mask from the person behind it. And I definitely get this expedited a lot more than the average individual, being a guy who's on social media all the time, right? When I changed my profile, my whole brand, I went from Barry the Fortnite YouTuber to Adavier. And I made my name Adavier because I wanted to be obviously more authentic. I wanted to, kind of pull off the hood and say, look at this world. This is who I actually am. I'm more than just a Fortnite streamer. And I think I'm getting a little lost in it. I'll dive into a little bit more into this topic. So now the type of content that I make is really like, oh, this is how you make money. This is how you improve your life. This is motivation. I try to be like a motivator to a lot of people just by giving my perspective. And I realized I cared a lot more about the image of a Davier, a lot more than I did with Barry because that's my name. When I first changed my brand, my friend came to me and is like, hey, you know, I have a new business idea that could really work. You're running all these YouTube channels, these Snapchat shows in the background. How about you make a course? How about you teach people, what you're doing? And the first thing I thought is, I don't feel comfortable enough teaching this. Like, I've had a couple of good months. Yeah, I've made like good money. I really have made good money. But I was like, I don't think I'm like a teacher. But then I was entertaining the idea, and I was like, you know what, I'll go with it because I don't have that strong of a backbone, and not this time either. And so we go to Los Angeles. We spend tens of thousands of dollars on designers, mansions, cars, watches, you name it. And I'm thinking like, this doesn't feel like me. This doesn't really align with me, but I have to portray this, and this is cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. I still value it. I still think it's cool, but this doesn't feel like a Davier. So what happened is I started spending more time with him. I started kind of really wearing the cape of, look, rich online guy, and it definitely rubbed off on me a little bit. It hasn't rubbed off on me in my core. I still don't really value it that much, but it definitely rubbed off on me a little bit. And when people view me now, they view me as this lens of higher elevation that I don't necessarily feel like I deserve. But because they have this image now of me, I want to keep that image of them. Like, I want to keep that image. I don't want to ruin it for them. I'm like, oh, they think I'm this like super smart, articulate money guy that makes a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't want to disappoint them. And now that I've made this image, I have to keep this up. And so then I realized sometimes I'll backtrack. I'll have time where the cameras are off. And I'll feel like I'm the richest guy alive, the most powerful guy alive, the strongest guy alive, just because I've worn this mask for so long. Now, this can both be a good and bad thing. I say the best thing that you can do is be so self-delusional that you end up walking the path that you envisioned in your head, which is good. And in this route, it actually has benefited me. But then when I think of things like I said, values of, do I actually value this? Do I actually value money as much as I preach online? Am I supposed to be this guy who's just completely flawless? Like I try to appear online? No, that's not. I'm not. It's just not me. I don't even value money as much as I say I do. Consumerism, capitalism, always looking for the next thing. I value being content. I value humility. I value um, interpersonal relationships. And the only thing I'm preaching is external validation and solving problems with money, which money definitely solves a lot of problems. I won't be illogical to say that, but I realize that I've fooled myself to thinking that I'm this money guru savant that just loves money and loves the attention, and I don't think that's me. And this is my personal story again, which is really unusual. A lot of people probably can't relate to this, but I can imagine, think of a person who's in school and they just want to be a doctor. Their parents wants them to be a doctor, right? And they go to school, they get the good grades, they start medical school and all this stuff. And their whole goal is they're doing this not for their own self-value, but really the big motivator is to appease their parents and have their parents' validation. They're validating them. And in validating them, they'll believe that they can validate themselves. And so then they go through these years, they go to medical school and say they get accepted, and then they end up in a job that they're not fulfilled with because they chase validation outside of themselves. And I think I'm kind of reaching that point. I had a little bit of a revelation. Stuff was going on, behind the scenes. And I'm starting to realize that maybe, may not be the avenue for me. Maybe I don't really know who I am because I've been wearing a mask for so long. And also, I'm 23, I'm still growing, I'm still developing. When all the lights are off, I'm not really thinking about this. When all the lights are off, I'm thinking about family. I'm thinking about my future. And I definitely believe that I will be very fortunate and I will have a lot of resources always at my assets, like always at my disposal. I truly believe this. So I know that is something that's a part of me. But the flashiness isn't me. I just want to be happy. I want to be happy alone. I want to be happy with everything that I feel like that is mine and cannot be taken from me. Money dies with you. It goes somewhere else because it no longer belongs to you. My money, my assets will not carry to the afterlife. I can have a legacy. I can have a lineage. It'll pass down to my family. And family is the most important thing. It is the only way to continue your life. It's the only way to preserve yourself is through your bloodline. People don't think about this. Your 80, 90, 100, maybe 110 years that you have in this world, once that's up, you are soil. You will biodegrade into the ground and you will become nothing of physical existence. You will only exist in memory and you will only exist in blood. And to me, I don't know why. Maybe it's the autism, but that has triumphed everything. Always. It's always been my number one motivator of family, family, family. I want a family. Not only do I want a family, I want a good family. I want a happy family. I want them to flourish. I want to have something outside of myself that I can protect, that I can love. Love that will always be attached to me and that will always be mine. And it definitely comes from an insecurity of myself, of feeling like, everything that I have can be taken at any moment. But my son, my daughter can never be taken from me. I want to think, if I have a wife, she'll never leave me. If I have a wife, she'll love me forever. And, it doesn't work like that all the time. I would pray for it. I'd love it. I'd love for it to. It doesn't work like that all the time. But the one thing is my last name that will never be taken from me. It's something I own, something that will be ingrained. And so that I know why, that's why I value it so much. It definitely comes from insecurity, but I don't think it's a bad thing or bad insecurity to have. It just makes me want to strive harder and harder and harder to meet that goal. But I guess I'm making this video to kind of talk to you guys and ask you, do you really know who you are? Do you really, 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 really know who you are? And if you don't, that's okay. Especially if you're young, that's okay. The best thing that you can do is find out from having freedom. Freedom, alone time, isolation will tell you who you are. Journaling will tell you who you are. Journaling to yourself, not journaling with expectation that someone else will see it one day. Because I even used to do that myself. I used to write in my journal and I wouldn't leave it out open, but I would have in a drawer or something. And I was like, well, maybe my mom might see it one day and I want it to look good in case my mom sees it. No. Journaling completely for yourself, for your eyes only. What do you say? Do you lie to yourself? Because a lot of people lie to themselves. I know I've lied to myself. I pretend to be confident when I'm not. I pretend to have all the answers when I literally just don't. But I'll never lie to myself in text. I'll never lie to myself in writing because it feels like a safe space to be vulnerable. So yeah, do you know yourself? How will you get to know yourself? And are you living for external validation instead of internal validation? Ask yourself this, and yeah, you can definitely have a much more fulfilling, authentic life. If you made this far to the video, type scissors, and I'll heart it. I love you. All right, see you guys in my next video.